This is a Big Apple peeler for you.
What is this?
You're from the Big Apple, aren't you?
Yes, I am.
This is a Big Apple peeler.
This is a Big Apple peeler.
Peel, slices, and decors all in one go.
Watch your hand.
Okay, you ready?
All right, here we go.
Okay, here you go.
Fantastic.
Right, and then you should take it off, and hopefully the core comes out.
Oh, isn't that nice?
That's for you.
Isn't that? I could use that on my wife, actually. It's quite beautiful. In fact,
Now,
if you would use this on your wife, she might not have left.
Oh no! Now even you're saying she left me. Now even you're saying she left me. Okay.
She'd had enough of you. Whatever, what's the difference?
Howard, where do you think I got this from? I got it from my ex-wife.
Very beautiful.
That's the only thing I got. She got the house, I got this.
I'm loving it here in England, though. I can see this is my second home. I don't understand why my radio show and my television show is not
here.
on. I would love to have my show on.
Do you know
in
why?
England.
I'll tell you why.
I've done it all. I'm the inventor of lesbian dating game.
Can I tell you?
I am the man who rolled around with naked women on television and radio.
Yep.
I've done it all.
I know.
And I would love to do it here in this country, but I think they're afraid.
I'll tell you why. I'll tell you why they won't want your radio show here.
Why is that?
Because they don't like good radio shows in Britain.
Well, I would. Now, what happened to you? You were on the radio.
On the radio.
And what happened? You got fired? For what
No.
you did?
I wanted Fridays off, Howard. They wouldn't give me Fridays off. I wanted Fridays off to concentrate on this TV show.
Oh, really? You couldn't concentrate on this show and do a radio show at the same time?
Because you don't know what goes into this.
Really? You mean there's actual work that goes into this?
No.
This is hard to believe. It looks like it's a bunch of naked women running around.
Now there's heavy.
Looked to me like the Fugees were doing all the work.
There's heavy drinking needs to be done the day before.
Yes,
and
indeed.
I can't do that if I get up early on a
So
Friday.
you want to be a TV star? You're going to chuck the radio thing to be a television star?
You said on your radio show, after we came over to your radio show,
yes.
we left the studio, you were very, in the beginning you didn't like us. By the time we left, I figured you thought we were all right.
No, actually, I still didn't like it, even when I left.
Okay.
I'll be honest with you.
Okay, well, when you left, we were walking down the corridor,
yes.
and you were saying on the air, I don't even think he's got a TV show. He doesn't look like a TV show host.
Well, actually, I'm looking at some of the cameras here. I'm not sure you have a TV show. I'm pretty. This looks like my home VCR. I take my kids being born with this stuff. This is unbelievable that this is a show. But no, you got a very happening show. I understand this is the #1 show?
Yeah, what? No.
I've met
we said that so you'd come on.
I know. I met like 16 guys today who all have the #1 show in England.
Okay.
Right.
Who were they?
I have no idea.
Exactly.
You're the only one I know.
But which show did you come on?
I came on this show. This is the show I wanted to be on.
Excuse me, can you name either of these two men?
Yeah, that's Chris Evans.
That's Chris Evans.
Chris Evans?
Chris Evans.
Chris Evans.
That's Chris Evans.
It's Chris Evans.
Chris Evans.
That is Chris Evans. Do you know who that is?
No.
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 Now, that's not...
Well,
that's
now
not,
you can see.
But
That's all right.
That's not
all
meant
right.
to be
That's all right.
confrontational. That's just 1-1.
No, that's okay. Listen, as you know, that is my problem, my unique problem.
What?
Beside the fact that I have a movie coming out, nobody knows who I am in this country.
Well, we asked an American, so...
Oh, you went around
I'm a fair guy.
American.
I'm a fair guy. We asked an American.
All right, go ahead.
Here
Hi, are you American?
Yes, I am.
Where are you from?
New York.
Do you know either of these two men?
That's Chris Evans.
we go. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
I smell a fix.
It was a fix. He was an actor.
I smell a fix.
He was an actor.
I smell a fix.
Now, I want people to get, if they haven't already got the gist of you, right, I want you to read some stuff out of your book. Because I'm a big fan of Howard's. He's been writing books like this for years. This is the kind of stuff on his radio show. This is about the death penalty. This is Howard's book.
You want me to read from my book?
If you don't mind.
You know, this reminds me of being a hippie in the East Village. Okay, here we go.
Okay.
I said in the following in my book. You like this passage?
I love this passage.
Believe me, criminals will be convicted. I say electrocute them and then give them the trial later. You can see that I'm pro-death penalty.
Yeah, big time.
There are certain people that you can pick out. You can pick out people who have been up to no good.
Yeah.
I can look through your crowd right here and figure out who deserves the death penalty, who has done something illegal. All right, but I won't do it. I won't embarrass anybody.
Okay, go.
People who commit violent crimes against the police and honest citizens will be put in the electric chair. We'll take these misfits, we'll fry them like fish. That's why my campaign slogan will be a vote for every vote.
And then you say what people think.
Well, actually, in New York, where I live, I ran for governor. And all I said was, I'm going to electrocute all the criminals, and I'm going to take their crispy remains and fill in the potholes with their remains and level out the streets. And I had 28% of the vote going, but I backed out of the race.
You backed out. That's true, though, isn't it?
Yes, and the
New
reason
York's two big problems are criminals and the roads.
And the roads. I was going to fix both. The reason I backed out is because I took a good look in the mirror and realized there is no way I could responsibly be the governor of New York State.
But you were going to do that for one day and then resign after you'd put those laws into legislation.
That's right. I would have appointed somebody more responsible. I am clearly out of my mind, and there's no reason I should be the governor for more than one day.
Yeah, you got a great quote about Michael Jackson, who you've met.
I actually had a meeting with Michael Jackson. Believe it or not, I sat with this guy. I was as close to him as I am to you.
Right.
And I got to tell you, it was very disturbing. Not being close to you, I mean Michael Jackson.
Right.
Michael Jackson sits there, and when you get close to him, literally, I started to think that this guy's face was melting. And I wrote about this in my book. I'm sitting there watching the guy, and first of all, he walks into the room. You know, he's rather tall. I didn't realize that. He walks in the room, and he shakes my hand, and the guy has surgical tape all over his nose. It's in a perfect square like a scarecrow. And everyone in the room, there's a couple of different people, his managers, his people, nobody says a word. There's a guy with surgical tape all over his nose, and everyone's acting like there's no, surgical tape. So we sit down and we begin to have a business meeting. It was about him coming on my radio show, and I was going to interview him. And he's sitting there, and he doesn't say a word, which is great. Why am I having a meeting with a guy who's like a wall, I mean, what's the point? So he's sitting there, and I'm noticing that he had some surgical tape around his fingers. And he must have been reading the newspaper because he had like little black smudge marks on there. And he has the white paint all over his face. So he starts rubbing his head because it's getting hot in the apartment we're in, and he starts to rub his face, and now there's black smudges all over his white clown makeup. His scarecrow stuff is starting to unravel, and I'm sitting there, I'm going, well, maybe I should say something to this guy. Maybe it's time I said something. But his manager isn't saying anything.
So you don't say a word?
My agent isn't saying
anything.
Say a word. So I keep my mouth shut.
Okay, you did the right thing. You did the right thing.
Yeah, I'm a big wimp.